to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're gonna find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have two segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on art storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're gonna hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it, raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes, and that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're gonna send this to you after today's session ends. We're gonna email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is art storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to art storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work, you get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts, you save up for it, eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color, how's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or, of course, too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions. Your website does not answer them, and they never get it answered. They leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen, and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image-based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you can step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, Giclée print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we've selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need. Right, so let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on. QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. Let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thanks, pre-recorded Taylor. On time as always. What's interesting is that, yeah, it's all about the website, right? And the website's important, and that's all well and good. But 99% of the people that are on this call, if the maths remain consistent, don't have a website problem. Meaning, it doesn't matter where you take your art and move it to any other new website, it's not going to fundamentally or significantly change your business because none of you have enough traffic, none of you have a big enough email list. In short, all of you guys have a marketing problem. And basically since the pandemic, like a couple weeks before the pandemic, I've been having these Zoom sessions with customers anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week where I'll talk to, between 15 and 30, get their Q&A and go through their various questions, where they are in their business. And then probably like a month after the pandemic started, so in April, we started doing these sessions with non-customers, people that are just interested in learning what we do. And you do that for long enough and pattern recognition becomes like a real thing, right? Fundamentally, what we say is sort of our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal, is to put our customers on a path to a 6-figure-a-year art business. And it's a lofty goal, especially for some people that are just getting started. And everyone always asks me, well, how many people are on your platform are over 6 figures a year? Not a lot, small percentage. Okay. But it's a very good number of them, and some of them much higher than that. But everyone else, we believe, is on the path. And when you break out the various different cohorts that exist in that group, right? And I think we have like 4,500 customers now. You get everyone that is technically challenged, that's sold basically nothing, that's been with us for a couple of years, that's struggling, all the way up to the people that are killing it in every single solitary increment in between. And just recently, we sort of started having a workshop for our people that are above a certain clip, meaning they've reached a certain threshold of yearly sales that's decently high. I'm not going to talk about the numbers, but decently high. And on Friday, I got to investigate their businesses and see what they were struggling on. And it just underscores for me what the path is, right? There is a path that artists and photographers can get on that will put you on a path to a 6-figure-a-year plus business. And even the ones that are on it still have holes in their marketing, right? They've figured a bunch of things out. They're doing some things really well, but they still have some significant holes in their marketing. And I do this like twice weekly show called Art Business Mornings. April, will you put a link to it in the show notes? Highly recommend, even if we're not the right fit for you, if you're serious about your business, to subscribe to it, because it's like real time what's going on, what we're learning as a result of all these customer conversations we're having, what are the facts on the ground, COVID, this, that, the other trends. And I talked like 2 episodes ago about I'm going to build a quiz, right? And like people in lead generation land have been building quizzes for a long time. And it's like, the top 10 weight loss tactics, like where you put in your age, right? And you put in your diet, and you put in the part of your body that you think is flabby, and it spits out some sort of workout for you. There's absolutely one of those quizzes for where people are in their art business and the stuff that they need to be working on. And it's actually pretty simple once you like break it out and look at it. I think, I normally go on this rant, and I can see a bunch of familiar faces on this call, so I know you guys have heard it before, about the 5 pillars that underpin a 6-figure-a-year plus business. I'm gonna skip that for now. I'm just gonna say that, number one, almost none of you guys have a website problem. A website alone, not enough. Not even the most important thing, not even close. Yeah, we got bells and whistles and AR and fancy wall preview. Not going to fundamentally change your business at all. Okay. And then number 2, the only thing that you have to get right, that you can't get wrong to put yourself on a path, is you have to be DTC. DTC stands for direct to consumer, meaning there cannot be anyone in between you and the end customer, and you need to be able to retain all of the data on the end customer. And, COVID has underscored this, right? Like the retail galleries, almost all closing, none doing what they were doing. The offline fairs and shows, yes, you got to keep your customer data in those, but they're nowhere near up to the strength that they were, and they don't show any signs of coming back anytime soon. Even the online galleries, your Etsy's, your Saatchi's, your Fine Art Americas, you don't keep your customer data. And the odds of you making it and being really successful when you're not selling direct to the consumer are just not good. That's just not a healthy bet. It's Vegas at the best of times. So I say all that to say, as long as you get that one right and you focus on your marketing, you're in a good position and you can do it. And I'll just say that the facts on the ground remain staggering. Art and photography, I've argued in the past and will continue to do so, that a combination of technology changing, it's hard to recognize it when you're on the worm, when it's turning, right? But a combination of the socials getting much better at live video, broadband speeds increasing, have drastically affected change. Live video, what we're doing now, is nothing new, but the pandemic has really pushed it to the forefront. So 2, e-commerce buying behavior, depending on what, credentialed PhD next to their name, tech enthusiast person talks about it, it's either increased, this pandemic has either increased e-commerce buying behavior and trends anywhere from 3 to 7 years, meaning 3 to 7 years happened in 3 months. So e-commerce as a function, as a habit of buying, has gone from nowhere to just the stratosphere in a very short period of time. The third level up is, and this is, and I have a great point that I got this weekend after this, but home decor, okay, of which art and photography are a big part, is a huge beneficiary of this thing. I mean, it's been a windfall for it. It doesn't matter if we're talking about patio furniture or office equipment or anything you do in the home, streaming equipment, microphones, webcams, everything home decor related is exploding. It's just exploding across the board. Why? Everyone's working from home. Everyone's spending way more time in their home. They're sick and tired of the white walls. This weekend, where I live in Southern California, and then we're going to get into your Q&A. I'll quit ranting. I've got, like if everyone that lives in San Francisco is in the tech industry, everyone that lives in Orange County where I am is in real estate in one capacity or another. And some of my close friends have grown up here my whole life are all in the home building business. And we were just having a discussion at a kid's birthday party this weekend, and every single solitary one of them is like, I'm so slammed right now. I have never seen business like this, period, meaning they're building new homes in areas a little bit outside of the cities, and everything is selling instantaneously. The home decor explosion as a result of this, as a result of everyone moving out of cities, as a result of everyone saying, why am I in an apartment when I'm going to be locked down? I want more space, is just the amount of sheer white walls that did not exist pre-COVID that do exist now, and the people that are moving into them is just striking. So we believe this Q4 that's coming up, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, usually the biggest art selling time of the year traditionally, is going to be the biggest one the industry's seen in 10 years. I think it's going to be just incredible. So want to open it up to Q&A. You can ask anything about the software, anything about what we do, the marketing, any question at all. What I would say, though, is definitely focus on where you think your business is, what you think the biggest problem is, and what you need to take as the next step. And I think I got a ton of really, really good advice. I've seen a ton of customers in non start taking it and doing well. And I've seen just so many people go on the progression. So where are you in your business? What questions you have? And yeah, I'm going to start with Christina. And you can ask, by the way, by raising your hand like Christina did. There's a digital way to raise your hand, not like that because I won't see it. There's too many people on here. Or if you want to throw your question in the chat, I usually deal with the hands first, then I go into the chat, and I'll deal with the questions too if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So Christina, you're up first. Go ahead, Christina. And you'll probably need to unmute yourself, Christina, which is bottom left-hand corner. I'll let you know when you get it.
Do
Yep,
other artists buy other artists' work?
Yeah, sometimes. Not out of the realm of possibility, although probably not as much as normal consumers. Why do you ask it out of curiosity?
Because most of my friends on Facebook, I have 4,000 friends on Facebook, and most of them are other artists.
Yeah.
So I think I'm running into problems there because we're all trying to sell our work.
Yeah, this is like a common thing. Like other artists just follow all other artists and photographers. It's like it's a big thing. We get this all the time. But you know what I can give you though, which is interesting. So we've had some customers that we say, hey, we incentivize them because we want to use their story or their images in ads, and all we do is advertise to artists and photographers, and many of them have done tremendously well as a result of it. So it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt you at all, but it doesn't drastically change the equation either. You still have to market, whether you have a bunch of artists or photographers following you or not. You still have to do the marketing.
Understood. I'm having a huge problem with marketing. That's why I'm reaching out right now.
For sure, all artists and photographers do. It's just part and parcel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next up is Colleen Flynn.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, great. Well, I'm in Los Angeles, and everybody in our area is in production, so nobody's working.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are artists. My question is, I deal with a lot of photographers. I'm curious on what I need to do to digitize my work. Do I need a big fancy photographer who's going to charge me a fortune, or can I simply take pictures with my iPhone?
Yep, I'm going to answer this two ways, and you're going to love both of them. The first one is, we have a guy, and I always forget what his name is. He's spent his entire career doing nothing but this, photographing work for reproduction, and he wrote like the most detailed, in-depth, super nerdy blog post that starts with the iPhone and goes all the way up to professional scanning and handles everything in between. So April will put that in the chat, and then we'll also email it to you after the fact. It's already there. So you can read through that. What I would say from the business standpoint is iPhone for all of it. Get them all up on your website, and then work on the selling. The hardest thing to do is to sell a work. The easiest thing to do after you have the order is get it professionally photographed. You just came to my website and you just bought a work that you want a print of from the iPhone version that I took with my camera. I email you, Colleen, thank you so much for your order. I'm so fired up. I really just appreciate it. Just to let you know, I've recently contracted with a new photographer, and he's reshooting all of my work so that I can get even higher quality prints. But it's going to take me 2 weeks. Would you be willing to wait so I can get you that higher quality version? I'd really love to do that. 100% of the people are going to say yes. You're going to hang up that phone, run out the door, go get that thing scanned, and then on to the next, right? Like the hardest thing, the biggest problem everyone gets stuck in, and this is like a common thing. It's like, okay, well, I'll just get the store open and I'll just start working on my marketing after I get everything scanned. 1 month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, 6 months. Yeah, trust me.
Story right there.
I do this. I do this 3 times a week for months. I've heard it again and again. You gotta get started on the marketing. You know, the same story, different other side of the coin. Like, I got to just get the bank account set up, right? I got to go down and get my business license. Erroneous. You don't need either of those 2 things. Get a check and then walk into the bank with a check that says, hey, here's the account I'm opening and here's the deposit, right? Like, don't go through any of that nonsense until you're there yet. These are the lessons that you learn from being an entrepreneur for years, because I've violated every one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So yeah, I would just, get going. Let me ask you this, Colleen. Have you sold your work before?
No.
So you're
never.
You're just getting started. You're just going to try now?
Yeah, I never even thought. I mean, the pandemic has made me think about whole new revenue streams that never even entered my mind before.
Oh, you're not the only one, that's for sure. Step one, and are you an artist or a photographer? Artist.
I'm both.
You're both. Double threat. I like it. Yeah, the number one thing to do is you're in this early stage right now, and you're trying to validate whether or not your art will sell, right? Many of you on the call are in the same way. You have to determine if you can sell that art or photography to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, or friends, okay? Those people would lay down in rush hour traffic for you. We're not concerned with them. We're concerned with strangers. And pre-pandemic, my advice would have been a little bit different than post-pandemic, especially where you are in LA, where everything's like still in lockdown. You have to wear masks outside. I can't stand it. I would have said, find the farmer's market, find the local art fair, or one of those swap meets, and get a booth and set everything up for the weekend and see whether or not it sells, right? Because that's the validation that you're looking for. The good news is
none of that stuff's going on anymore.
I know, exactly right. That's why the advice is different now. Nowadays, you have one of these, okay, and you get some of your work reproduced. Certainly easier to do the photography than it would be the art. And so that you have some samples that you can hold, and I'll go through my little song and dance here because I have mine right down here. And turn the camera on. Hey guys, as you're well aware, this dumpster fire of the pandemic has had me rethinking my revenue sources. So what I'm going to try and do is launch my art career. I've been thinking about it for years. I'm celebrating this potential launch and asking you to help me get this business going by having a live art show. Start showing the pieces off, talk about them, say what you'd normally sell them for, and then quote a lower price. See whether or not it sells. You could even be brutally honest and just go, look, I'm just trying to figure out if any of you guys would buy this stuff. Like, what do you think, right? And just hold the pieces up and see what you can do. And you can do this very, very inexpensively. This is a perfect time, and your hand is the only one up. So give me 1 second. Let me get my stack because it'll make it more. Yeah, hold on. All right, let me get it in order. So the options are, my green screen will make it a little bit weird. I've got framed paper prints, black, framed, ready to go. This one is, someone's child running through a field. Okay. I've got canvas gallery wraps, beautiful. Edge to edge wrapped, also ready to hang. No trip to the frame shop. This thing's ready to go. So I normally sell these for $875, but because I'm trying to get this business launched and because it's a COVID discount, you need a new Zoom background anyway. People are tired of looking at that white wall. I'll let this one go for $375, right? Show a metal print. Show an acrylic print. Ready to hang. Beautiful. My webcam's having focusing issues because of the green screen. You can even get my work on wood. And wood looks amazing if you haven't seen it. Beautiful texture. 3/4 inch thick maple. Could hit somebody with it if needs be. So if you get the samples, which takes 2 seconds, and literally everyone's like, people for years have told me my work is amazing and it's awesome, and I've even won awards, and people like it. All it takes is about $150. Not even that. It's probably like $80, and we can you can use your local printer, or we can put a link and you can put an order in and it'll all get done for you, because we've got one too. All it takes is just getting these, turning the camera on, and talking about them, seeing whether or not it will sell. And as long as you do it on your own personal Facebook page or Instagram, whatever one you have more followers on, it's really easy to do, and you'll find out instantaneously, and you don't have to, put a booth together and sit in the sun for 8 hours.
Okay, thank you so much, Patrick.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And to encourage you, we'll also put in the show notes, my cameras. I've had multiple people on these calls listen to what I say, give me the yeah. Why is this thing having issues? But I've had quite a few that have actually taken the advice and had it work right out of the gates, and like make 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, and nobody knows. Oh, the thing's really struggling. My camera. Let's see if I can fix this. Nobody knows until they know, and only the market can tell you, right? And you're just basically one test away from doing it. So if you've got the temerity to do it, that is the shortest path to get there. All right, I'm going to go into the chat now. You guys are a shy bunch. You're a shy bunch. Okay, Colleen I've already dealt with. Robert says, I like the software and marketing. I had a great printer and framer when I was in San Diego. I've since moved. What do you offer to take care of the most important business time consumer? Oh, that is so true. No truer words were ever spoken. The dirty little secret, and I see your hand, Chris, I'll get to it. The dirty little secret is printing has become a commodity. It just has. And it's sort of sad, right? Because you have a local printer and you love them. The only thing that they can offer that a competitor can't is better service. They're nicer to you. You like them. You go after work and have a couple of beers with them. It was an opportunity, because all the printers are the same. All the ink is the same. All the mediums are the same. The difference between the big boys and your local guy that you love is the big boys have a little thing called Economies of Scale. Okay, they're running those printers all day, all night, and buying ink by the barrel, and their prices are cheaper. And if that wasn't enough, turns out when you sell $30 million worth of prints a year versus 300,000, you get a way better rate with FedEx. You get a way better rate with UPS. And so you can't compete on the pricing. You can't compete on the shipping. It is not a high ROI use of an artist or photographer's time. What do I mean? You take the order, you send it to your printer, you call them up. Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. When can you run it? I'll get back to you. Then they call you and they leave a message and you weren't there. Then you get it. Okay, when can you run it? By Tuesday? Okay, great. And then you have to drive down there and make sure you're happy with it. And then they box it. No. That is all time you are not spending on your marketing. That is all time. If you're in the restaurant business, no new people are coming into your restaurant. So it's not a high use of time. So we have 2 print partners, Bay Photo on the West Coast, a company called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. They're interchangeable. You can integrate with either one. An order comes in. You do not touch anything. They'll even slap your branded logo on the box. The order comes in. You get paid. The printer gets paid. They print the order. They ship it. Tracking, all of that automated 100%. You don't touch anything. Works when you're awake. Works when you sleep. So that's how we do it. That's how it takes care of that. One more, and then I'm going to get to you, Chris. I think that's it in the chat. Okay. Chris, you're up. Go ahead.
First of all, will you all consider a joint venture, a collaboration, if you feel like it's, worthy of your attention?
Absolutely. Here's the terms. I will consider a joint collaboration under strict and regimented terms. These are the following. I will pick up, 100% of your membership dues and costs. I will take 15% of your total sales. The deal will go into effect 3 years later, after I've seen you consistently work on your marketing week in, week out for 3 years straight. If you don't, the deal's off.
Sure.
See, that's where it gets teeth, right? Like I get this email all the time, and what you're asking me to do is pick a horse, right? Like you're asking me to pick a horse at the end of the day. And I'd never do it because I've seen everything under the sun. I've seen people whose art I thought was garbage, and they're doing really, really well because they're just super personable. They're super personable, and they have something when it comes to their marketing where people just love them and buy it. And then you had people whose work is like, oh my goodness, this stuff is so good. You got to be kidding me. I want to buy it print. And then they do nothing on their marketing. Nothing. They send an email once every 3 months. They do 2 posts on Facebook and Instagram, and your business is not going anywhere if you're going to do that. And I have no guarantee that you would do any of the above. So it would sort of be like me walking to Vegas and putting money down on the craps table, which I love doing, but I'm not doing it in a business sense.
It's a fair statement.
Yeah.
There are, various, other. We can. I'll direct message you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's the game. It's like, every single solitary person needs to work consistently on their marketing. Very, very few people have the perspective of how long it takes, right? And the analogy that I give is, let's say, I'm here in Southern California. Let's say I had to drive from where I am down to Mexico. I'm going to go to Mexico for the weekend. I have in my head that that's going to be about a 3-hour drive, right? A 2.5-hour drive, depending on the border traffic. When I'm getting very close to the end of that drive, I'm starting to get fidgety and antsy, and I'm saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" I'm throwing things at my wife and just saying, "Get me out of the car, get me out of the car," because in my head I had a 3-hour drive. Towards the tail end of it, I get fidgety. If in my head I was driving from California to New York, I'm not going to be pulling that "Are we there yet?" until I get outside of Jersey, right? Because I have the perspective of how long I need to work on this. Like Steve Jobs said it best. 3 to 5 years to build anything of value in today's day and age. And he's true. It's totally true. And it has especially important in the art business. Like your first year is going to be about grinding and growing and building an email list and posting regularly on the socials, having a sale, learning the mechanics of a sale, how to email, how to have the social messages dovetail with the email, how to introduce Facebook and Instagram ads, all of which we teach year in and year out. But there's no shortcut to doing the work, and nobody wants to do the work. If you do the work, and we show you how to do the work, marketing is about 2 things, fundamentally about 2 things. Focusing your time on the high ROI activities and doing so consistently all year long. How do I know what the high ROI activities? I'm damn good at marketing. I've been at it a long time, but that's not enough. I got 4,500 customers on my website that all they do is the ones that are selling really well. I look at their stats, I reverse engineer it, and I go, what's working? How are they doing that? How can I replicate it? How can I teach my other customers? And I do that year in and year out. And with the customer base and how many of them are selling, I can make judgment calls that no one else can make. SEO is not working. SEO does not work. There is no magical SEO formula or SEO theory or your buddy's cousin in Poughkeepsie that really has helped somebody out that you're going to pay for and is going to make fish jump in the boat. Not a high ROI activity, return on investment, time, treasure, energy, effort. Pinterest. Another fantastic one. I get pinned all the time. It's incredible. I'm getting all these pins. I could care less. I have yet to see a single solitary artist or photographer make any decent income off Pinterest. Do not waste your time on Pinterest. So once you know what the high ROI activities are and you stay in that lane, it's about just doing that as much as it's about ignore all the nonsense on the fringes. Because what happens? Everyone gets bombarded with the nonsense. TikTok is the next biggest up-and-comer I've ever seen. You got to get on there. Erroneous. No one is making any money off TikTok. It's not true. We have a couple of gals that seem to be doing all right with it. But by and large, it's not the number one place that you need to focus your time, energy, and effort. So those are the 2 things. High ROI activities, doing so consistently all year long, which nobody ever does. They get real hot and bothered. This year is going to be my year. I'm going to kill it. And then they work hard at it for 3 months. They don't get the results that they want, and they quit for about 3 months or 6 months. Any of that sound familiar? Right? Like it's the nature of it. It happens consistently. Susan, were you raising your hand? Okay, hold on. I got to unmute you. I'll unmute you. You probably have to hit the mic, or I can't tell if you're. Yeah, gotcha.
I got. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, great. So I'm new to selling my own work, but I've got some interest.
Okay.
And so that's looking into this. But I also have kids who are talented. And so I think I want to market my own work, but then possibly add in their work as well. Does that count as a gallery? Does that count as my own? How do I do that?
Yeah, I think so. I can tell you I can tell you what my initial gut reaction is, and I can tell you the pluses and minuses. My initial gut reaction, I love the concept of the family gallery. That would be awesome. That would be incredible from a marketing standpoint. That would be super fun. The pitfalls of a gallery and the gallery model are, okay, let's say you get going, and then you've got your kids' art, and your kids' art just takes off and it's just selling and it's crushing
Right.
it. But they're not doing any marketing, and you're doing all the marketing. You're like, you little punk, do some marketing, right? It would be less in the family example, but more in like, so we have a ton of galleries that want to come on board, and they're like, hey, can we do this? Do you think this would be a good model? And we do. We think a gallery can be incredible. The difficulty is the whole point of a gallery is to get butts in there and get them buying, right? So you move it digitally, the same problem is there, except you're not in some flashy retail building on Main Street of a high traffic area. So you're responsible for marketing. When you have a bunch of different artists in there, there's very few galleries that are like very good at general broad marketing, finding the right art buyers. And then what ends up happening is they get their number one horse, right? Which is whoever their biggest selling, and that's like all their marketing, and then the other ones are just dying on the vine. So the pitfalls anyway. But yeah, I think the
Okay.
family affair would be awesome.
And it would be a vested interest to,
For
of
sure.
course, promote their too, because I'm old and I'll just retire and take a percentage. But
I love
the
it.
other question would be marketing to interior designers and people who are putting out public art and things like that, where they're looking for that digital image at a low cost that they can decide what to use it on their own, versus a more residential market. Do you see any differences or success with any of that? Or
Yeah, so this comes up all the time too, and it's like it's a variation of how do I find the high net worth people to buy my art, right? This is and for some reason some people have been told that there's some sort of list of high net worth individuals that exist out there, and if I just had that list to email, I would get there. Complete BS. There was never any list, and if anyone had that list, you think they're going to share it with you or anyone else? Absolutely not. So we get these stories on a regular basis. So we have, I think, 5 different ones that we run like this weekly for just our customers. And one of the things that we'll do is if somebody had a big success, they post it in our private Facebook group, and then we immediately grab them and say like, okay, tell the story, both for moral support and a rising tide lifts all boats, gets everybody fired up, but also I want to know what you did, right? I would say like the last 6 out of 7 people that got big deals, 15,000 to like 60,000 with interior decorators, or a large art buyer that places in the hotel. Like the last one, the interior decorator's daughter followed the artist because she liked the artist, and then eventually said, Mom, I found this really cool artist, and gave it to her. So how do you reverse engineer that one, right? We're gonna do a Facebook ad targeting daughters of interior designers in this age group. No, the way that it works is you start in on consistent, regular marketing, okay? And everyone's followers are a bell curve. This is just conclusively true. Down here at the bottom of the bell curve, low-income people, God love them, they love your art. They're never going to have any money to buy your art, but they like and share and they comment on things, which is awesome. Then the bell curve goes up, and then the bell curve goes down. Lower middle class, upper middle class, middle class, upper middle class. Great sales throughout that. And then on the far right end are the high net worth individuals. A lot less, but they're there, right? So you stay consistent with your marketing, you stand a chance to get all of them, and that's the easiest way to do it. Now, there are some strategies, okay, to potentially target interior designers, and some people have gone at it. You could target them on Instagram. You could join a website called Houzz, which is where they hang out and do all their stuff, Houzz. Send them a bunch of direct messages, but they're getting hit up by everyone that's got a new fabric sample, and they're getting hit up by everyone that's got a planner. It's a numbers game when you do that, meaning whether you're going to be contacting the interior designers on Instagram, whether you're going to do it on Houzz, whether you're going to do it on LinkedIn, expect to send about 1,000 messages, maybe get a response on 50. The sales cycle on it's usually pretty long. So I would potentially, depending on my art, I could see myself doing it if it was my business. But I think big picture, getting your marketing system in place, you just start getting wins and they start building upon each other. And that's just how it goes, right? Like,
okay,
yeah, that's what I'd say.
maybe choose a couple, because I'm thinking more targeting public buildings like hospitals and government buildings or whatever, and those, and going directly for those interior designers. And they typically, I've been told, they buy just a lot of digital stuff, especially if it's location focused, for a small amount, so that they can then, because it's only used in one place, it has to be a custom project. And the other thing would be, the other subject I'm interested in is possibly marketing as a curator of art, but that's more of, I'll send you a PM about that.
Yep. Understand completely.
So
But
thanks so much.
yeah, my pleasure. And I just think it's easier. I mean, I use the analogy that everyone has to be able to do 100 push-ups, right? And 100 push-ups in one sitting is pretty hard to do. Even if you're doing it on your knees, it's hard. 100's a lot, right? So it takes some time to get there. And what do the 100 push-ups consist of? Your art's up on a website that can take a credit card. Okay, check. You're gathering and capturing emails on a regular basis every month. Okay, check. You're emailing that list on a regular basis, both non-salesy content, we call it romance content, and the sales content when the time is right. Okay, check. You're posting on the socials regularly. Fantastic. Are you having a sale and executing on a sale correctly? There's a lot of steps to that. Omni-channel marketing stuff we can get into later. Okay, check. Great. Are you having live art shows and live flash shows with your phone, a computer if you want to do it with a computer, where you're talking to your social following and you're putting things for sale? Until you can do all of that and you're doing that consistently, there's really nothing else you can focus on. You should be focused on. That's what it takes to build a business in this wonderful digital era that we live in. There's no shortcut to it. The thing that bums me out is, like, ever since this pandemic hit, I get these people in their 40s and 50s and sometimes 60s, and they're at the top of their game, the top of their craft. I mean, they're as good as it gets. Like, their art, their photography is honed, is refined. They had some really good offline revenue sources going on. Problem is, for the last 25 years of their career, they didn't have a website. They weren't capturing emails. They didn't keep any of their customer data. And now that the pandemic's hit, all of those revenue sources are dried up. And what do you have? Nothing. And sadly, the internet don't give a damn about your previous experience, about how good your work is. You have to build and cultivate attention. You have to build and cultivate attention, and it takes some time, and there's no shortcut. So, it's heartbreaking in one capacity, but in the other, it is an amazing world that we live in now. I think the gatekeepers that existed in this world are being obliterated on a daily basis. I mean, if there was one person that I could bet on right now to start an art career, who I would want it to be, I'll take any of the Kardashians, because they have so much attention, so many Facebook and Instagram followers. They could put out some garbage and they would probably sell a couple $100,000 worth in every single solitary flash sale. Attention is today's currency, and if you have it, you can do anything. And you don't have to have Kardashian levels to be successful, but you better work on building it. So that's what I'd say. Okay, Hillary's asked me a question. I do have a question for the customer experience. I did read one unsatisfied customer who said his clients were having a hard time completing sales. So far, all the info is about being a seller, not seeing anything about it reaches the consumer basis. Yeah, good question, Hillary. So the one person that had an issue with buying the art is that same one person that has an issue with buying anything on the internet, period. The site transacts many thousands of dollars a day, every day, across a whole bunch of different websites and a whole bunch of different capacities. There's no problem with the websites. It's very easy, very minor problem. And let's be honest, for that one person that has a problem, it's better that you call them on the phone and take the order on the phone anyway, until you start doing serious volume, i.e., you'd be on the phone all day. The hand-to-hand portion is amazing. I would go as far to say, too, that for a lot of our customers that are doing really well, above six figures, they'll tell you when you get above six figures, usually it's a massive amount of volume or it's like a pretty good price point. Pretty much all of them are getting on the phone with the customer. They just are. Like, no one is buying. In software, the rule is if you sell a product, okay, that costs more than like $1,100, you have to have a sales team, because people just don't instantaneously come onto a website and buy something for $1,100 or more. And it sort of holds true to art. Like, there's a number in there, but if you're spending a certain number of dollars, certain artist here or there on the fringe aside, the sales process is going to be consultative. It just is. They're going to see you. They're going to love you. They're going to send a PM. You're going to send a PM back, or DM, PM, whatever. There's going to be some negotiation or whatever, and then you make the sale. So that's how it goes. So you want the website to support you, and make you look awesome. And if somebody does want to buy, then boom. But there's still a lot of hand-to-hand combat that goes in the sales. And for several thousands of dollars, it's a worthwhile use of your time. So that's what I'd say. Here, and I can unmute you because it looks like you have a follow-up. Go ahead, Hillary.
Oh, thank you. I did have a follow-up. So we're all on these calls because I hear there's a sale, but I don't know what that price is. And then I do want to I heard, if you're not doing this, and this, then you're not going to reach your 100 push-ups. So how much hours in a day do successful artists? I'm a working photographer. I have not really sold as an artist that much, so I don't have a call list.
Yeah, and that's okay. Everyone starts in a different position, right? I think the most important thing, okay, is one, that you validated your art, and two, that you're willing to put in the work and do it consistently. And let me explain both of them. The validation piece is critically important. And I don't think you were on the call earlier, so I'll tell you. You have to have sold your photography to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, or friends who will buy anything, right? They love you. They support you. They do anything for you. Once you've reached that level, where, yes, you have sold, you determined that you have a product that the market actually wants, then you're ready to go on all the rest. And at that point in time, it's less about how much time you have to dedicate to it. I'd probably say 80% of our customers are not full-timers. They have day jobs. 20% are full-time. It's less about the hours in a week that you have to devote to it and more about how consistently you stay at it. So it's like, if you only have 4 hours a week to work on that business, give me 4 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, and don't ever quit, right? And you get better and better and better, and you level up more and more and more. Our secret sauce is that we will make sure you're focused on only the stuff that matters and knock all the nonsense off. So that's an incredibly important part. And the validation piece is so interesting too, because I always give the analogy, right? Like, okay, your art, your photography, let's just put it in restaurant terms. You have a restaurant, right? And you open the restaurant, and if strangers come in and they order food and strangers come back, you have a good restaurant, right? Your art is technically validated. You're ready to go. Now, after a year's time, you have to look at that restaurant and you say, is this thing growing to the way that I want it to? Like, does it match my ambition for what I have in terms of my art career? If not, then you start inserting some new dishes, right? Start switching out some dishes and try some new things, try some new avenues, and see whether or not it takes off and gets bigger. But the validation piece is so important, and we're human beings, right? We crave feedback, we crave validation on a whole bunch of different levels, and a lot of people are usually further than they think they are. You have to be able to sold before. But if you've been a working photographer for a long time, my guess is you've got chops.
Do you have one more question?
Yeah, of course.
Is it okay, or in your advice, to have multiple
niches,
genres?
styles? Yeah, absolutely it is. Like, again, and this is a great question. Two things. One, in today's day and age, what are pretty much all artists and photographers? Solo entrepreneurs. You don't have a team, you don't have a staff. As such, you're the brand. Hillary Nichols is the brand just as much as your style is, okay? So that's number one. Number two, you grab the niches, you grab the styles you have, and you put them up, okay? You get going on your marketing because you don't know what you don't know. You drive several thousand people to your website over a period of 6 months, 9 months, a year. You sit back at the end of the year and you look at it, and normally what happens is an 80-20 emerges. It's called Pareto's law, and it always seems to shake out this way. 80% of your sales will come from 20% of the work. At that point in time, you have to decide, okay, is that 20% my niche? Do I want to keep this other stuff going on? And then you just make a decision. You either say, this is my niche, my style that's obviously selling the best. Do I want to go all in on this or not? If the answer is no, you like having all that other stuff, well, then all we do is we take that stuff that's selling best, we highlight that on the website, the rest of the stuff a little bit less prominent, and you go at it that way. But you could constantly be adding new niches and styles or backpedaling, backwinding on any of it. You can do that all day. Great. Thanks, Hillary. Oh, one more?
What's the price?
So what's the price? So they're constantly changing prices. I know it's roughly, for the lowest plan, $1,000 a down, and then whatever the month is. And I can speak to that too. Everyone's like, $1,000 down? I mean, who do you guys think you are? We realized early on in this business a couple years ago that, selling software is not enough to be successful. So there's a whole lot of other platforms out there, that you sign up and you pay $29.99 a month or $39.99 a month, whatever it is. And, my favorite stat is one from Shopify. Shopify's a huge e-commerce company, one of the biggest, one of the best. It's not a knock on them. 99% of Shopify store owners fail. And why is that? Because the website's not enough. It's not enough, period, full stop. Thinking like you're going to just get a website and that's going to create a great business for you, it's not enough. You have to have the ongoing marketing support and coaching. For us to grow as a business, we need successful customers. That's it, full stop. We can't do it just selling software. Otherwise, everyone would fail and get pissed. So what do we need to do to create successful customers? It's sessions like this, week in, week out, where we have these things called playbooks that essentially underpin everything that we teach you to do marketing, how to run a sale, how to run Facebook ads, how to go live on Facebook, how to go live on Instagram, and on and on and on. We teach the things face-to-face, in person, with multiple sessions, week in, week out, all year long. And all we're doing is we keep adding more of them and more of them and more of them. And you can't, in today's day and age, just have online, go at your own pace learning. You have to pair it with live teaching like we're doing now. It gives you a taste of what we offer all the time to keep you focused, to get you unstuck when you're stuck on one of the little technical hurdles, to benefit from having a group where you're feeling unsure about a technique or a tactic, and then some wiry-haired, gray-haired guy at 70 years old gets on and talks to you about how they just killed it, and you're like, this guy's got a face for radio. How did he do that? And it's like, it's just the rising tide that lifts all boats. Before the pandemic hit, we started these sessions right when the pandemic hit. Before, it was a situation where we would teach a thing, right? I'd have a podcast on it, a blog post on it. I thought it was so awesome. I'd make the playbook, and out of 100 people, like 30 would take action, okay? Then fast forward to the Zoom sessions where I'm teaching the thing. We're doing Q&A like this. You can come in and out and do all of that. Instead of 30 people taking action, I got like 65 people taking action. It was like a double, right? Like every metric in the company like improved overnight, just by having these sessions. And so I need to be able to offer those sessions for as long as you're a customer in perpetuity. And that's how we create successful customers. So that's why we charge what we do. It's why we're a different solution than everyone else. I get it, not for everybody, but we think it's a winning solution. And yeah, we're really proud of it. So yeah, you had another question, Hillary? Oh, I muted you. Hold on. Got trigger happy. Go ahead.
Thank you. So because Art Storefront is a new entity to me, I've only seen it trying to pitch to the artists. So you're trying to get $1,000 match. I have not seen it trying to pitch to customers.
Oh yeah,
So
we don't pitch to customers in the slightest. We teach you how to do it. You own the store, you own the URL, you own the customer data, you own all of it. We just teach you how to market and grow your business.
How do people buy art? How do people
find you is what you mean, right? Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing, which we teach you how to do. So we'll teach you how to grow your email list. We'll teach you how to run a sale. We'll teach you how to run ads on Facebook and Instagram. And we do that all year long consistently.
Okay.
Really, it's the only thing that works. Like the marketplaces in today's day and age, no chance. There's so many people on there. You get lost in the shuffle. We've talked to a couple 100,000 artists and photographers over the years, and the number of people that are actually making like a good career on Etsy, which is not to say you can't make money, you can, or a good career on Fine Art America, it's not to say you can't make money, you can, or even Saatchi Art or any of the rest of them. It's just so few and far between. Like, the odds have to be completely in your favor. You have to be featured correctly. You have to be on the proper results page, have the right style, all of that. But what happens when the algorithm changes, right? Or what happens when they yank the rug out from underneath you for any reason? So the only way to build a sustainable business is for you to own all of those things. Own the attention, own the email list, own the customer data, market to them consistently. The good news is that you guys have picked a rather unique career, or rather this rather unique career has picked you. And it's not like you're going to stop being an artist or stop being a photographer. It's not like you're going to have a midlife crisis and decide accounting's not for you anymore and go into renting jet skis at the harbor, okay? You're going to be this way for the rest of your lives. And so you look at that with a piece of perspective, like, I can build a huge business here, year in, year out. It's going to continue to grow, and I have the rest of my life to do it. And you come to terms with that, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. What's the best way to do that? We think we're the best way to do that.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, Jackie, you're up next. Jackie, go ahead. What's your question?
There, can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Perfect. This is my first call with you all, so thank you so much for doing
problem.
this.
Welcome.
I'm totally, these questions are right out of the gate, so if they're
fire away, my dear, fire away.
I'm just gonna ask. Okay. First and foremost, I am a grief coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very specific niche. I also live at the Jersey Shore. So I'm up for every sunrise and every sunset. I take just scads and scads of pictures, lots and lots and lots. And I've gotten, believe it or not, I posted some, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm getting requests for having to commission some of my photographs. That's the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is I do tie them together with my grief coaching, because a lot of them and the captions that I include are pointed towards, giving someone hope, calming their spirit, helping them through their time of grief. And the photos, believe it or not, really help that along visually. It's a visual.
Yeah. No. I'm on board. I'm thinking like the inspirational posters, the quotes on the crazy photos. It was a big deal
Exactly.
forever. Yeah.
So again, I have a website, which it's still majorly under construction, but I didn't know, honestly, how to do that. I'm kind of like, I've got this plethora of amazing
Yeah. So wait.
photos,
So
and
let me stop you. Let me stop you. Start at the top. You're getting
Okay.
requests from commissions. Do you have
I
a
am.
Venmo or a PayPal account?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Then take payment immediately.
But I have no idea how to even price them.
Don't worry
I
about
don't even
that.
know.
Figure that out after the fact. Okay,
Okay.
no problem. What I usually do is 50% down, and I'll go through the whole process and get it all sized and everything else. You can PayPal me or you can Venmo me. Here's my information, and take that payment.
Okay.
And then go figure it out.
Okay.
Everybody, this is like a common trope. Everyone worries about what to do except the hardest part. The only thing that matters is the sale, right? If you can get the sale, everything else is so easy to sort out. But getting the sale is the hardest part, except everyone worries about how am I going to frame it? How am I going to get it photographed? And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying this is what I see time and time again.
No, I'm in that place now.
How am I going to ship it? What are the taxes? None of that matters. The only thing that matters is get the sale, because that's validation. So make up the price.
Okay, cool.
Make up the price, even if you lose money on the first one. It doesn't even matter. If you sold one, you're going to know you're onto something, but you won't until you do.
Right. Okay. So that's just one piece of it. That's like a major piece, the technical part of it, and how to hook it to my website and all that.
Right out of the gates, you do not need any of that. Honestly, like where you are right now, all you care, and if anyone else is in your shoes, all you have to do is validate that the art will sell. I think the angle you have is fantastic. I love that. That makes a tremendous amount of sense to me right out of the gates, grief and beautiful photos like that. So all you need is to post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, put the sale price, and say, DM me, send me a message on Facebook Messenger if you're interested. I take PayPal and Venmo. You don't need a website. You don't need fancy anything. You need to validate that it'll sell. That's it.
Okay, cool. And the only other question I have, this is kind of down the road. This is my marketing hat. I'm thinking, I want to do cards. I want to do.
Take your marketing hat off. And get the sales. Only thing that matters. Everything else is like so easy. And that's another great one, right? Like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. Why isn't the website done, Jackie?
Honestly, I defer to someone else to do it, and I really don't like it. And who has my vision but me?
How long have you been in the website development process?
Maybe 8 months.
8 months. Okay.
I think it sucks. I know.
I know. You don't need to do any of that. Don't even worry about any of that nonsense. Just focus on the sales. And I say this from a honest place of love. If you can sell them, you can take PayPal, you can take Venmo. You don't need any bells, any fancy stuff, any whistles. You probably have a product on your hand that could be a monster. I love the thought of it on the grief. All you need to figure out is that you can sell it. And PayPal, Venmo, and get the work printed out too, obviously, so you have something to show, I don't know if you can see the video.
Here's my last question then. So I'm posting it, and I'm like, people have said so much, and I want to have it. I want to be able to do it like on a canvas, and I have no idea how to do any of that.
Yeah. So what I recommend you do is I recommend you pick your, call it 5 to 7 that you got the best amount of feedback on, or it can even be 5, or you could even be 3, and get a sample run sorted. And again, we have a printer. You can do this if you like, just to make it easy. Otherwise, you can do it on your local printer. You need to have things like this that you can show, right? And by the way,
I love that.
By the way,
a canvas thing?
Yeah, when it comes to video and face-to-face video, which is like the most important way to sell, especially now in the pandemic, small is all you need. If it's big, it's too big of a pain in the butt to hold. Small.
What size is that? Is that like 8 by 10?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is even smaller than that. It's like I've got a bunch of them. It's like, hey, here's a canvas. Hey, here's the acrylic. Right? And it's ready.
How do I do that? Where do I get those things done?
So if you want it, don't go to Walmart.
Okay.
Although, they use bottom of the barrel, although they have access to some of the same printers. April's going to put a link in the show notes. They keep screwing my camera up. We have this site called asfprints.com. It's not something we make money on. It's not like a revenue thing for us. But you can get them on all the top of the media types. What you need to do, you need to have one on paper. Hopefully my camera focuses here because I know this is annoying. One on paper. You need one on canvas. You need one on metal. You need one on acrylic. And yes, I would even do one on, you can skip wood for your phase of the game. But fine art paper, you need one on metal, one on acrylic, one on canvas. You need to be able to show them. And let me tell you, like, this is like a massive pet peeve of mine. God, this camera is just annoying me. My kid ripped my main one right out of the back of my computer, and I had to get another one. And I think it's broken, which means return. We'll see if it focuses. Everybody thinks they're selling art or photography, and so everybody posts 2D images. You know, just a flat image. That's not what you're selling. That's not what goes on the wall. What goes on the wall looks like this. It looks like this.
Yeah,
if you were selling, if I just hired you, Jackie, to sell knives for me, but you're going to do it door to door, how would you go about doing that? Would you show up at the front door with a picture of the knife, or would you show up holding the knife? Here's the knife.
Yeah.
Right? Here's what it looks like. Nobody does that. It's such an important step. So you don't have to do anything else. And to be honest with you, I don't even care. Whatever's quickest. Don't use our site. Go to Walmart this weekend. Say, here are my 3 most popular. Get one of each. You know what's going to cost you is like $60. Say, I need an 8x10 or as close as possible to these 3, which I think are my best. Do one canvas, do one fine art paper, do one metal. Maybe acrylic, maybe 4. And then just start showing them. Take a picture like this, you holding it, talking about it, going, here's what it cost. You'll know what your price is from Walmart or wherever you went, and double it and see what happens. That's it. That's it. You get validation, you're in a completely different mode. And you don't ever have to do that old crappy website. Once you sold a couple of them, you can come join with us.
So you mentioned the metal, the acrylic, and the paper or wood.
I would do canvas. I would do canvas. I would do canvas, a fine art paper, metal, and acrylic. Metal is like the hottest seller right now. Acrylic's a close second. And look, it doesn't need a trip to the frame shop.
Google a place that would be local to me, or is it better to go through like what you just suggested?
Yeah, I mean, unless you have one that you know about already, don't bother. Use ours, upload, let it come to your house. You don't do anything else, and then sell them.
Okay.
And like, again, it's going to cost you, for all 4 of those, it's going to cost under $100. Metal,
Awesome.
I mean, just
Thank you.
small sizes. Yeah, the quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting to know, so thank you. I'm really excited.
But
Wow.
that's it. Don't monkey with the website. Don't do anything else. Just that. If you get validation, entirely different ballgame.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I really do like that niche, Jackie. I think that thing's got legs. Robert, I can't stop staring at your cat, man. I like it. You can see his cat. His cat is just straight chilling right there. It's funny. Okay. Any other questions? Hands or in the chat? I'll see if I missed any in the chat. Yeah, I would also just say, okay, good. Roberto's on. Roberto, go ahead. You'll need to unmute down at the bottom. Roberto. I'll let you know when you get it. You got it.
How are you, man?
Good. How you doing? Yeah, likewise.
Good, thanks. You sent me an email not long ago, today, and I've been talking to Reed, and so I want to know about this summer sale pricing.
Yes.
I'm in it with you guys. I'm really excited, and I will join you. I just my computer is in the hospital right now. It won't come till this week or next week possibly. But I want to get into this summer sale pricing that you quote as ending Wednesday.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that, or would you rather you tell Reed to get a hold of me?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll have Reed call you. They're constantly running deals and specials and tweaking the pricing. So there's a million things that I can't quote that they do. It's not me trying to be combative or whatever. Or,
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So I'll have Reed. April, will you ping Reed? Tell him to call Roberto Santos.
Thank you. Thanks.
And
one more question.
And I know how it is when the computer's in the emergency room. It's never fun.
Oh, no.
It's never fun. It's never fun.
I know. I'm on my phone, but there's so much I could do with this.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the fact that somebody that's been doing it for 2 years. You were talking about it takes at least 2 to 3 years before you really get going on something like this, due to the amount of knowledge that you have to attain in marketing and so on and so forth. Even though we all, in the industry for many years have had somewhat of a marketing education, but we're talking to you because we really are not in tune or as savvy in the digital marketing flow of today's social media and the whole thing, how it works.
Yep.
We understand how it works, but when it comes to us individually, it's kind of hard. You mentioned that somebody that was not, there 2 years and not doing too well. Do you recall that still?
People that have been here a long time not doing too well. Oh yeah, oh absolutely. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, and
the reason for that being
the number one reason, there's two, right? Like, and I had a call with somebody that will remain nameless that has been a customer for 3 years, okay, and really frustrated, not doing well. And I would say there's 3 reasons. One, we've gotten 10x better than we were 3 years ago. It's night and day in terms of every aspect of it from top to bottom. So they came in kind of like on a legacy side of things. So that's number one. Number two, people will come on and their art is not validated, meaning they've never sold any to mom, dad, people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, right? And they'll think that starting a website with us is all of a sudden going to find buyers, and they have not validated the product. And so essentially it's no different than you had a restaurant in your hometown and the food sucked and nobody wanted it. Nobody came in. And so what you did was, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this restaurant, I'm going to take these menus, I'm going to take the same decor, and I'm going to move it to a new town and open it up, and it's going to be successful. That is a recipe for failure, any which way you slice it, right?
But
and
what makes a validation for the art?
You have to have sold a decent amount to people not named family or friends.
By the year 2 or so.
No. Before you come on board, and like early on in our career too, we had some salesmen. Salesmen are a certain kind of breed, right? They're hunters and killers for a reason. So they brought some people on board that I just don't think their art was validated. Maybe they did tell me it was validated. So the point being is that it was a restaurant that was going to fail. I mean, this person that I talked to, and we're like improving our internal processes. And by the way, I hope you can at least expect the transparency. Like, I'd like to be an open book on all this stuff, and we don't have anything to hide. I talked to this person, and I was like, well, how much art have you sold in 3 years? And they were explaining some offline revenue sources that they had, and he's like, probably a little bit less than $7,000. And I was like, so you've been at this for 3 years and you sold $7,000. That is not a viable business. That is not a viable business. Why have you continued working for 3 years at that clip? Like, what is going on? Like, that's just, if you were trying to support your family on that, you would be homeless. It's not going to work. So I think, one, the validation is it's a tough one, right? It's a very, very sensitive type of a thing, but only the market can tell you, right? Everyone always sends me links to their art, or they'll like reply in a Facebook ad with their photography and show it to me. It's like, I can't tell you whether or not it's going to sell. I'm not the market.
Yeah, so
only the market's the market.
At least you're giving people chances of validation by allowing them to try it out, market themselves, and see if it sells.
Yes. And the third one I was going to say is that people come in and they say that they're doing the marketing, but they're not doing the marketing, right? They're not doing the marketing. And what will happen is they'll come in on a Zoom session like midweek, and they'll be like, I followed everything that you guys said, and I didn't sell anything, nothing at all. And I'll be like, okay, tell you what. And I actually have a portion of my team that's dedicated to this when it comes up. They will go audit what they're doing. Are they capturing emails? Yes, check. Are they sending emails? No. Are they sending emails to our specifications with our copy? No. Are they posting on the socials? No. Are they posting on the socials consistently? No. Are they having any live art shows? No. When we do have a playbook, do they follow it at all, or do they change everything? They change everything. So can't help you in those situations if you're not willing to do it, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. We don't turn artists like magically. Everyone like says like, so what guarantee do I have in the first 6 months I'm going to make my investment back? Like, we don't guarantee anything. We can't guarantee anything. No one can. Anyone that does is selling you snake oil. Run for the hills, right? We have some people that come in and absolutely destroy it in like the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. I had my first flash sale and I sold $1,800, and they haven't even been a customer for 4 days. And then we get other people that struggle for a while. And you can't compare your beginning to other people's beginning. Everyone has like a little bit of a different path. What I feel very comfortable in saying, the system that we have between the software, between what we teach you in terms of marketing, and then between the support as well as the online coaching, you will stand the best chance of any other system I'm aware of times 10. And I say that with supreme confidence. Like, we have a hell of a system. It's amazing. If you follow the directions and put in the work, you stand an incredible chance to get there. And you might get there really quickly. It might take you a little while longer. But the 3 to 5 years it's just a good rule of thumb, right? Like, you know, I'm 40.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah. So that's what I'd say.
I am only sorry that you guys didn't come into my vision 5 years ago.
Were you kicking butt and not gathering emails the whole time?
I beg your pardon?
You were kicking butt in the past and not gathering emails and keeping customer data?
Yeah, but the analog way.
Yeah.
Okay, not the new way, not the digital way, and so forth. But hey, listen, I'm glad that you guys came into my vision, and I like your business plan, and I think it works. It works well if you work.
Yeah.
If the artist itself works, because it's not. If it was handed down to you, I wouldn't be talking to you. So anyway, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And make sure Reed calls me before Wednesday, please.
I will for sure. One final. Do you?
Yeah.
I know it was analog, but did you keep the receipts? You keep the receipts, even if you don't have even if you didn't. No. Dang. Okay. Keep receipts. Keep receipts.
No, you mean
first name, last name,
material.
city, state, zip.
Oh no.
No. Okay.
No, unfortunately, but this is why I'm glad. I mean, you came into my vision. I'm going, what's this? And so I'm here talking to you and wanted to talk to Reed because I want to be part of it, you know? So
Awesome.
Anyway, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. We'll see you on the other side, Roberto. Okay, Robert Bradshaw and Kat, you're up.
I honestly think the cat ought to be signing the pictures, not me.
It'd be awesome. It's a cute cat.
She spends most of her time while I'm painting right next to me. One of my questions is, I see your price list here for printing and whatever, and I'm mentally comparing it to what I had in San Diego.
You're looking at the ASF print site, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so
I
that's.
I guess what I'm looking for is.
That's not internal
package.
pricing. That's not internal pricing. So if you're a customer, you get a completely different set of pricing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the framing aspect, I'm looking for like a one-stop shop kind of deal, which it appears that you have, so that it fits into your website motif completely, so that I can paint.
Yes.
Which is what I want to do.
Let me ask you this on the framing. Are you
Sure.
Are you someone that says I only offer one type of frame, this frame, because it goes best with my work? Or are you someone that says you can have any frame you want, you pick?
I believe that any frame you want, you pick is the way to go, but that's a full-time job at its own aspect because I dealt with framing myself and had to do it myself.
Oh, nightmare. Yeah. So what I would say about the frames is the biggest framing companies in the U.S. and internationally have spent tens of millions, probably in excess of $100 million, to try and figure out systems that will work for people to buy frames online. They have all failed miserably. No one spends that amount of money on a frame without going to a frame shop locally. That's what I would say. So 2 things. 1, do we offer the frames? Do we have the opportunity to offer the frames? Yes, we do. Why? 1, because you need to have the opportunity, so you have it. 2, so that customers can visualize the art and change out the frames. What normally happens is they order it, they take it to their frame shop personally, they get the expensive frame the way they want to look at and feel it and touch it, and that's that. And so that's where you leave it. I think if you're an artist or a photographer that says, I have a specific vision, I use this one frame, I've hand-picked it, hand-curated, this is what it comes in, then you can do very well with frames. Otherwise, you're not going to make a ton of money on frames because no one buys them online. Dirty little secret.
So your website does not offer.
Oh no, it
framing.
does. It does. I'm just saying you 100% have it, and they can order all the different kinds, but it's not going to be a huge part of your business.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I see both aspects of it. I'm just looking at it from the artist's perspective of what's the least amount I have to be involved in that the website takes care of.
I love that sentiment. That comes from battle scars, Robert. I know it does. I know it does, and I love it. Yeah.
I like all of what I'm seeing with you guys so far, and I am in the market for a website, which is why I'm here. Most of the sales that I've had have been from art shows that I've done through the year in San Diego when I was there. And I did fairly well. And when I try to evaluate myself, I'd walk out from one day of sitting at the bench for 8 hours and have $3,000 to $4,000 worth of sale.
That's great.
But that was the only driver. Was maybe 5 shows a year.
Right.
That was my income level. And it's amazing how you don't know who picked up your business card and whatever, but I had business sales and I sold the hospital and whatever after that. And kept an email list. And yes, I do have my receipts, but everything I've got's in storage for another 4 months. So I'm trying to position myself to make this decision, and maybe with you guys. The thing I saw was that I had to put as much money I was making back into the business in order for it to grow and manage the framing and the printing and the whatever. Lots of little questions that I'd have that I won't bother you with now. But I had heard that there's $1,000 down to get involved with this and the marketing and whatever, which that includes the website and the marketing.
Yep, for life. There's
For life.
I think 3 tiers of plans, and the differences between the tiers is primarily some of the bells and whistles, and then whatever the transaction fee is. And I'm not even sure what the percentages are, like 6% at the low and like 10% at the high or something like that. So you can save all that for when you request the demo.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Will do. Okay. Well, thank you. Very, very enlightening. I do believe what you're saying about with this pandemic that selling from home and doing face-to-face online and promotions is the way to go. I've been on Facebook drawing out my new canvas, taking a photo of it with my iPhone, putting it online, and so people can watch every other day the progression of the work that I'm doing.
Love that.
And people love that.
Yeah, they love it.
They're just, that's how you do that, or oh, wow. So I do believe that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding.
There.
I'm not kidding when I say it. Like, you know, the people that have been on the session have heard me say this before, but what's the trick question is like, what's the best way to sell art or photography? It's in person, face to face. There's no question. No one's arguing about that, right? Ideally in an art gallery setting, if we're thinking in retail. So if that's the best way to sell it, turns out we are all geographically fixed on this earth and we have to sleep. So you have to have a website that can sell and do everything in between. The greatest disruption is the fact that you can turn on the camera, have a video session like we're having right now, and sell art face to face, right? And that's the disruption. And it is so powerful because you can do it one-to-one, high ROI activity. Hey, Robert, I'm really interested in your work. I'd like to jump on a Zoom call, and I want you to show me some of your latest pieces, grab some stuff out of storage. I want to see what I can get a deal on, and I want you to show it to me. Great use of your time. Do it one-to-many, even better. Either way, it represents a fundamental change. 1, the artist is selling directly to their customer. 2, they're getting to know you. It's way more intimate. It's no different than they walked into a gallery and you were actually in there and they're having the conversation.
That's one of the key things I was thinking about is that I have a customer that, let's say, almost makes a sale, puts it in the cart, and doesn't buy, like you say. The capability of that person coming up on my site, I can call them and offer them a Zoom, one-to-one, and discuss what it is that I do, that I can offer, discuss pricing, delivery, any of the concerns that they have, and they get to see my face, do it out of my studio, and that gives them the intimacy of being with the artist. That's what I want to be able to do.
Yep. It represents the biggest, I'm not kidding, I believe it is the Netflix blockbuster, Uber taxi cab, music industry, and MP3's disruption. And one of the things that we do is we come up with marketing techniques or tactics, okay? We will grab a customer and we will execute the technique or tactic such that we can build a playbook that we can teach our other customers, right? I've got one of my friends who's been on the platform for a long time, incredibly talented painter. I'm going to put one of his images behind me so you guys can see it. Let's see if I can get it. And I saw the writing on the wall with live video a little bit before the pandemic, meaning I saw that because the socials, okay, love having people on their platform for longer periods of time. So this is the artist in question. For long periods of time, they were rewarding you if you created live video for them with extra traffic, extra eyeballs, more organic traffic. So I went all in on it, right? And I started doing it 5 and 6 days a week. I'm live sometimes 1, 2, 3 times a day. This entire session right here is in this Zoom call, talking to all you wonderful people. It's streamed live on Facebook. It's streamed live on Twitter. It's streamed live on YouTube, all at the same time, right? I do that because I realize the extra leverage you can get off of it. So back to my buddy back here. At it for 15 years as an artist, but 8 years hardcore marketing. He was all about the big show, right? Like the big dog and pony, gallery show, invites out, guest list, day before for the high VIPs, regular opening, wine, beer, performance art, the whole thing. He, after this show was over and we went to the next show, it was pandemic time. He had a bunch of basement inventory, extra inventory that he had like in his shed. He's up in Quebec and Canada, so they have basements. California, not so many basements. Anyway, earthquakes. Over a 15-day period, okay, doing 2 live art shows in his garage studio. April, will you put his video in there too? Because I want everyone to see it. You guys can look at it. It'll go in the email to you. He sold 62 pieces for $30,000 Canadian to 9 different countries that he had to ship to in 15 days. Wow. And it was his excess inventory. Now, I don't want that to sound hyperbolic. He actually did that, but he also is a guy who's really, really good, okay, who charges like $30,000 for these. And then he was letting a bunch of pieces go like less than 1,000 and a little bit over 1,000. So there were some extenuating circumstances that made that a little bit easier. But the larger point is there was no 50-50 split on that one, was there? It was direct to consumer. He kept all of that money. He made them pay for shipping. And then not only that, like, I'm not kidding because I was watching it and you'll hear my voice on the video. The video's on YouTube there. Colombia, Canada, the United States, multiple pieces to Germany, a couple pieces to the UK. There was another one to Asia. Was it Singapore, I think? And I'm looking at that going, my goodness. He's sitting in his garage studio, okay, in Quebec in Canada, and he's got a worldwide business. And all he had to do was turn his camera on and start talking. And I was just blown away by it, right? Like that is phenomenal. That is a phenomenal thing. And you can get there and have a big business and you own it and the pricing is completely arbitrary and you're able to ship internationally. Like there's a lot of awesome to that. And you don't need anyone. You don't need anyone to help you to do it. All you have to do is consistently market up the following and start running these things. So I think it's phenomenal. The fact that you're on it already with, showing the progression, like people love the live video. People think art sells by, having a sale, 40% off, this month only. I'm going to go spend $50 on a cold ad. That is not how art sells, right? There are items that we buy impulsively as human beings. Art is not one of them. I want to know you. I want to see your art a couple of times. I want to understand who you are as a person. I want to know that you got this funny cat that sits on your desk when you're on video calls, and get to know your story a little bit and get bonded to you. And then guess what happens? When I know I'm at home or I just bought a house or I just moved out of my dumpster fire tiny shoebox apartment because of COVID and I got a house in the suburbs, I got wall space, I know who I'm coming to, right? Like that's how art sells. It's not impulse. Like, yeah, you can go to an art fair or a craft show and that's like a little bit more impulse, but they're still getting to know you, aren't they? Right? It's just not like an impulse online buy. So anyway, I could rant about that till the cows come home, but I'm not kidding when I say, I've been at this with Art Storefronts for like 5.5 years now, almost 6 years, I think. And we've recommended all kinds of techniques and tactics and awesome ones over the years. I have never seen in that entire period of time the level of success I'm seeing now with live video, merchandising, and selling it. It can be a flash sale, a full art show, just talking about the work, one-to-one or one-to-many. It is fundamentally blowing my mind. You couple that with the fact that, you know, you don't have to like take my word for it in terms of the stats. Etsy just had its biggest quarterly filing in the history of the company, okay? Wayfair, which is pretty much the Amazon for home decor, just had its biggest quarterly filing in the history of the company. And this is in a pandemic. Why? Because all of home decor is exploding. You know, I made mention earlier of my buddies that are in the home building business, and it's like they are just exploding right now. What do you think people are doing? They are moving from the little shoebox to something that has twice as many bedrooms, and they haven't been spending money on going out to dinner, and they haven't been spending money on sporting events, and they haven't been spending international travel, and the economy was pretty good before this dumpster fire happened. So I believe what's coming up here with Q4, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, is going to be massive. It's going to be the biggest one the art and photography industry has ever seen. And if you don't have your stuff in a position to sell and you're not started marketing to sell, you're not going to be able to capture it. And where are you getting art right now? Art galleries are closed. Nobody's going to them anymore. All of retail has changed. I have a buddy that's way high up in retail, and I'm not going to say where or when, but he said buying habits are completely changing. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, it used to be that you would like go to the mall or go to the store to go check things out. He goes, now because of COVID, we call it sniper shopping. And I go, what the heck is that? He's like, they have the thing in their head that they want. They put the damn mask on, they go into the store and they get it and they get out and they go right home. And that's happening nationwide. That's happening nationwide in terms of everything retail. So there's no one that's going to stumble into an art gallery anymore. That's just not happening, not at the scale that it was. And even if it is, it's like 10 or 15%.
I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico now, and this city is an art mecca of the nation.
Yeah.
And Canyon Street is closed.
Yeah.
$1 million art galleries as far as you can see.
I know, it's
and they're
terrible.
all shut down.
I know, it's terrible. But, you know, every time that there's a massive disruption like this, so this is the most extraordinary time any of us have ever lived through in our lives, there's opportunity. And the opportunity is there, but the sales are not coming back anything local, geographically retail based. That's not going to happen. So you have to get in gear. You have to get an online presence. You have to be prepared to take advantage of this dumpster fire of a situation. And I believe that it's like the perfect storm, right? More people are moving to the suburbs, bigger homes. People have disposable income because there's been nothing to spend money on. There's no offline anything going on. All of home decor is exploding. And guess what? Where are people going to get art and photography? There's nowhere to get it. There is no local art fair or art show. And if there is, 10% of the people are going. There is no local art gallery. They are going to buy it online. And so the people that are marketing online and have an online presence are prepared to capture a piece of it. Everyone else is host. It's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I just moved from Hawaii. There's a guy called Wilfredo who does painting online and offers it on Facebook. And once a week, he'll do an oceanscape while you watch him paint it. And the responses he gets are phenomenal. And that's one of the things that convinced me something like this is the way to go.
Yeah.
He's making money. He's having fun.
Yeah.
And he does great work, and he's appreciated. You said that you can do shows or displays through multiple venues online, like YouTube, Facebook, whatever, at the same time, so you don't have to jump from one to the other.
Yeah, I can say with no ego here because I've got the reps and sets. We're not swamis or gurus, and we don't recommend anything that our customers do that we're not doing ourselves. Since the pandemic hit, I've been live over like probably 375 times on every platform with every device, with every technical difficulty in between, different mics, lights, cameras, falling, green screens. So I've got playbooks. We've got playbooks on absolutely all of it. It's why we charge what we charge, why you get what you get. Like the minute you plug in, you can look at it and I'll level you up to pro streamer in 2 seconds. And guess what, by the way, I'm still live 5 to 6 days a week because it's the future. It's absolutely the future. Yeah. Prior to the pandemic, and then I got to wrap it up because I can see I'm in a hard break. I was never once on camera. I hate being on camera. I still hate being on camera. But I'm also contrarian enough to understand that when the writing's on the wall, the writing's on the wall, right? Like, it's the future. So we can help you massively, Robert, when you're ready.
Good.
Yep. Just request a demo when you've got it. And so you guys have heard me talking about a sale. We realize COVID's on. We want everyone to get up and running and online prior to Q4. There's still time to do that. We have like a pretty amazing CS team that gets pretty much everyone online in 14 days or less. Some people can do it in 48 hours. Your site's up, it's ready to take credit card. You start marketing now as hard as you can until this Q4 hits, which we really think is just going to be a tremendous one. So we've got a sale. It's actually ending in, what is today? How many days in this month are there? So it ends on Wednesday. If you get a demo request in, you're eligible to get into it. You have to talk to somebody, but you know what they do. Our outreach team will give you a call and say, hey, ask all the questions you want, ask all the pricing questions you want, ask any other question you want. If it looks like something you want a demo on, you can do the demo. If you tell them, don't ever call me again, you guys are losers, they won't ever call you again. So they're not pressure people. So if that's you, definitely do that. If that's not you, no problem. We run these things 3 times weekly, and we're certainly not going anywhere. So on that note, thanks everybody. Everybody have a fantastic week. Great questions. Really enjoyed talking. Love that cat, Robert, and hopefully see you guys in a future session. Bye.